Dear ladies and gentlemen, warm welcome from Ljubljana, from Slovenia, the only country with love in its name. I would like first to thank Ms. Marjeta Jager and Ms. Anita Pipan for setting the ground for this event that we are all looking forward to evolve. Dear Excellencies, dear friends from Slovenia as well as from Latin America, it's really my privilege navigating this discussion today, already the third time in the row, addressing circular economy. So, dober dan and buenos dias to everyone. For those who do not know me yet within this circular community, let me introduce myself. I'm Ladeja Godina Košir, the founder and the director of Circular Change, the first platform devoted to circular economy in Central and Eastern Europe, as well as wearing another hat of being the chair of coordination group of the Circular Economy Stakeholder platform, the European one in Brussels. So I'm very happy because I've got the opportunity to collaborate with many of you already. And it's so nice to see how these relationships are evolving and how from year to year we have more circular economy change makers on the ground, as well as in Latin America, as in Slovenia and Europe. So I'm looking forward really to take a deep dive into the stories that we have on the agenda today. And as is have been nicely said before, what is of crucial importance is creativity and innovation. And it is not a coincidence that today is the World Creativity and Innovation Day. So we picked up the best possible day for our discussion to explore how this creative spirit and innovative spirit can contribute to so much needed circular systemic solutions. As I said, it's already the third year in a row that we are addressing circular economy. What is of significant importance, because as Ms. Marjeta Jager nicely pointed out, as well as Ms. Anita Pipan, this is the topic that is very hot due to the fact that under the umbrella of circular economy, we have tools and we have elements that can lead us towards green and sustainable transition. And right now we are facing two crises. On one side, we have COVID health crisis. On the other, of course, climate crisis. And these are just two parts or two sides of the same coin. So even if we get vaccinated and if somehow this COVID crisis will be controlled, the climate crisis will definitely remain. And we should count on that and be ready really to change not only our economy, but as it has been said already, also our society, our behavior. And today, our journey will lead us through different topics. First, we will stop at one very important topic, that is network governance. What does it mean? How to establish networks on the national, international level, how to collaborate with different stakeholders, and how to enable them to contribute to this circular transition. In the second round, we will take a look at the science and research and innovation, as it has been said, and explore how business sector is collaborating with science and how these collaborations are also bringing fruitful results. And in the third, let's say, circle, or in the third stop of this journey, we will hear business cases introduced by circular frontrunners. So I believe that it is going to be super exciting and very vivid afternoon, here afternoon in Slovenia, elsewhere also a little bit different time zone. What else I would like to say? That why events like this are so much needed. Because sometimes we don't know even what is happening in our own environment. Who are those frontrunners, change makers? And through events like this one, we recognize potential partners, collaborators, or maybe we just get ideas how to foster our ambitions, how to run our businesses. And I'm sure that the outcome of this very event, as of those in previous years, will be very positive. And let me, at this very end, thanks to also our special guests. We have two active listeners with us. This is His Excellency Ambassador of Slovenia and Brazil, Gorazd Renčer, and representative of DG International Partnership, Karina Zalowska, and they will both give us a feedback on the stories that are going to be shared. So I would like to thank you both for being with us. And we came to the point where we can start the first round and give the floor, or unfortunately not the floor, but the screen to the contributors to the very first panel. And let me just share another small secret with you before we jump into the first panel, that with us, we have ambassadors of Latin America to Slovenia, a lot of them. So from Brazil, Paraguay, Colombia, Mexico, Guatemala, Peru, Panama, and Chile. So we are a very powerful group, and this will contribute not only to the event, but also to everything what is about to follow. So now we have the time and opportunity really to invite, let's say, the first round of speakers. I already announced the topic. It is about networks, and we will explore how these networks contributed to the development of circular economy on national and international level. And with us are Linnet Solway from Eurochile, Chile, Beatriz Luz, Exchange for Change Brazil, and Simona Weinhandel from Slovenia, SRIP for Circular Economy. So three powerful ladies, three change makers, and let's start with Linnet. Linnet, it's a special privilege having you now in Slovenia, since in the last, let's say, 2 years, I'm very often with you virtually in Chile. This collaboration on your circular economy roadmap is really a very special experience. And I'm looking forward, as well as the others, to hear something more about Eurochile and your experiences in circular economy. Please.
Thank you very much, Ladeja. Good morning, good afternoon to everyone. It's a real pleasure and honor to be here and to keep these collaborations going, the ones that already exist, and hopefully develop new ones, right? Because, well, I would say in the past year, a very key milestone for Eurochile, but probably more importantly for Chile, is that we started 2020 without a national circular economy roadmap. And now, thanks to the work and support of so many national and international actors, including Ladeja and Circular Change, Chile is very close to publishing the final version of its circular economy roadmap. So I think that's really a huge milestone for the country. But on top of the roadmap document as such, the journey of its construction and elaboration has huge value in and of itself, as we've just been discussing right now, because it really creates these collaborations, you know, as it allowed to leverage and maybe more importantly, give a direction to the circular economy momentum that was already happening in the country, you know, already initiatives coming up here and there, but this construction, this process of constructing the roadmap was really an opportunity to pull the threads together and give a direction to the momentum. And as the process also required articulating many key actors from a variety of sectors, representing many different parts of society. You know, we had the public sector, of course, the private sectors, NGOs, civil society, academia, all working together. It really created a space for participation and interaction amongst all these actors that don't necessarily interact that much on a day-to-day basis. And it also required that they make decisions and reach consensus in, I would say, a quite unique process for Chile in the elaboration, in the making of such a strategy, of the roadmap. You know, and that's exactly why the ministry chose to create a roadmap and not just a circular economy public policy, because they really wanted to put all these key actors around the table and reach consensus as to what does the circular economy mean for Chile and how do we implement it. And you know, if that wasn't a challenge in itself, all this was done in the context of the pandemic, right? Behind screens. We started this work in March 2020, and we have not once met in person with the over 150 people that participated in the entire process. We've had, I don't know how many meetings with all these actors, and it has all happened behind screens. So that's definitely a huge milestone for the country, and quite incredible, you know, all the journey that has been carried out. And by end of June, I would say, the final version of the roadmap should be released, and there will be an English version. So of course, everyone is more than welcome to keep an eye out for it and download it. Two other interesting milestones I'd like to mention that occurred in the past year and related to the advance for circular economy in the country, in Chile. One is the entry into force of 2 EPR law decrees, one for tires and the other one for packaging, setting the recollection and recycling objectives that producers will need to meet starting 2023. So really, these processes that were already ongoing did not stop because of the pandemic and actually managed to get approval. And then another very interesting initiative that is going on right now is a bill for the ban of single-use plastics that has been approved by the Chamber of Deputies 2-3 weeks ago, and it is now in the final phase of approval. So that's also a project that started probably late 2019 or in 2019, but has actually gained a lot of momentum during 2020 and might get approved in 2021, which is really exciting. I think it's difficult to say whether the pandemic has accelerated circular economy discussions and implementation within the country. There was already quite a momentum going on prior to COVID related to circular economy. Back in December 2018, Eurochile, together with UNIDO and the Ministry of Environment in Chile, we organized the first international circular economy conference in Santiago, and over 700 people showed up. So that already showed that there was a lot of interest. But one thing's for sure is that interest is still rising and reaching more and more actors. And I think that's the key aspect, right? Because a few years ago, there were already circular economy talks, but one could say more at an elite level. And now one kind of feels that, you know, everyone is talking about circular economy, SMEs and different NGOs and all different sectors, main sectors of the economy are really starting to wake up to it and organize webinars, etc. And even, you know, just like normal citizens. So that's really interesting and that's very exciting. So all this talk about the circular economy, I think it's a great start. And I think it's incredible how in the past 4 years, it's really exploded exponentially, I would say, in Chile. But now the real challenge is the actual systemic implementation of the circular economy within the country. So as Eurochile, three priorities or main priorities for 2021 and the coming years, it's really directed at circular economy implementation on the ground. And for that, we want to tackle it, well, on three different aspects. One, working with SMEs and really defining what circular economy means for each of them and how they can take part in the support and support the transition, right? And that's why over a year ago, we created a circular economy working group open to all companies, but mainly oriented towards SMEs. And actually the two companies from Chile that you will be hearing about a bit later on in this session are both part of this circular economy working group. So really starting to create this ecosystem, right? And incorporating everyone that wants to participate and see how they can take part in supporting the transition. Then the second point that's also very key, and it's key all over the world, but I think considering the geography of Chile is really critical, is bringing the circular economy to the local level. So when you have a country that is over 4,000 kilometers long and that has like so many different geographies and even cultures and sectors represented all along the country, what circular economy means for the northern part and the desert part of Chile is obviously not the same as what it means for the lake regions or for Patagonia. So now we really want to focus on bringing the circular economy to the local level, talking with the different regions and local governments to implement circular economy within the territory, you know, taking advantage of all these different specificities of Chile and of its territory to really implement a circular economy that works for everyone. And then finally, and that kind of also brings these two things together, is focusing on promoting the circular economy as a competitive framework for recovery, for diversification of the economy, and reactivation also of the local business ecosystem, and doing that by focusing on the entire value systems. So usually you will have big companies implemented throughout the country, which are surrounded by ecosystems of SMEs, and so really working along those value chains and value systems to promote a circular growth or regrowth within Chile. That's it for now. I'm happy to answer any questions or continue the discussion in the following discussion.
Thank you, Linnet, for this super inspiring and empowering message. And as we said, what is the ambition is to make the most linear country in the geographical terms, the most circular in the sense of economy and society. So this is a special challenge. And we will jump now to my dear friend, Beatrice Luz. Back in 2016, we met in the Netherlands during their EU presidency when they were introducing circular economy as a kind of a core of their transition. And Beatrice, in the time from 2016 until today, you did magic work in Brazil. And we will focus only on the part related, let's say, to the last year. So I'm giving the floor to you now to make us see what are you doing in Brazil.
Yes, it's really a pleasure to be here with you and Linnet and sharing all the learnings of a roller coaster journey as we defined a couple of years ago. And I remember being in Slovenia and realizing the different geographic size of Slovenia and Brazil. So Brazil is 200 times bigger than Slovenia, but we realize with all this international knowledge exchange that industry, government, and the society in all countries, they all want the same thing. So the industry wants to prosper, the government wants to lead sustainable development, and the society wants to be living in a sustainable world. So there is a lot really that we can exchange between Latin America and Europe. And I would like to first highlight the journey within Brazil that has been from the industry level, being a passive observer from 2016, very much focused the discussion of circular economy in the research and the innovation centers. And now we can see the industry has become really a leader and a good focal point for the discussion in Brazil. So Brazil is representing, is being part of the ISO discussion, and Brazil is being a leader, bringing together the Latin American countries on board. And also in 2019, the industry has launched a document to provide guidance for the whole industry on a strategic path towards circular economy. So as Linnet said, we are also going through a roadmap, which is being funded by UNIDO. And this has been a really good engagement opportunity to liaise with all sectors and also bring the government on board. And I would like to highlight within the last year, 3 key learnings. The first one that we realized, especially talking with the innovation agency, that is the national body that funds new research and innovation. the technology is only one part of the solution. We cannot just rely on technology as being the solution for a circular economy. Circular economy requires a systemic view, requires industry leadership. So we need to have a systemic mindset and having the market demanding these solutions. So the innovation has to be developed together with the market. So we are working to bring together science and application to promote the market pull and not just the market push. So we are working with leading technology centers to bring the market together and really work towards practical solution. The second learning is the importance of looking for unusual connections. So the role of the facilitator, looking at the agri-sector, the industry, the construction, and how the solution from one industry sector can be in another sector. So the role of the facilitator that has this critical mindset and can connect all these bodies is really critical for developing this governance that we are talking about. I remember being together with Ladeja and all other circular experts in the World Circular Economy Forum in June 2019, when the discussion was all about collaboration, the need for collaboration for the global circular economy transition. And when we met again, and then we took part on an event led by Eurochile at COP25, the discussion was towards governance, because we know that we have to collaborate, but how? How do we collaborate toward the transition? So we need a new governance. And this comes me to my third key learning. We need new rules, new values, new commercial relations. And circular economy cannot be done alone within company boundaries or even within a country itself. We need to learn how to build trust and build suitable ecosystems for making that solutions in a practical level. So this year, our biggest learning was to bring all these 3 points together and launch the Circular Economy Brazilian Hub. For doing that, we approached a number of companies that we have been working for the last 4 years and decided to create an ecosystem where we could bring together big companies, small, medium-sized companies, and what we call the supporters. So by doing that, we bring the voice to small and medium companies to be the agents of transformation, the connectors there. So we've learned that by creating an ecosystem that we can connect all the parts of the value chain, we can create a strong governance, share risks, share investments, and really develop practical solutions. So we are working towards looking at the suppliers as co-creators of solutions. And by having this trustful ecosystem, we can share knowledge in a different level, internally and externally along the value chain. And I'm really glad to say that we invited 2 of our members, Wise Recycling and Fit Synchtronics, to share their learnings within this 1 year of the Circular Economy Brazilian Hub, and how we accelerated the discussion by being a number of leaders and companies committed to develop scale. So bringing the circular economy to scale, this is our main objective now, and we are very happy with this journey. And just to finalize one point that Linnet said, has COVID and the pandemic and this virtual communication accelerated the discussion? Certainly, we didn't realize that by this virtual communication, we could bring together people from all different regions of the country. You know, I said that the country is huge. So we were able, by having these virtual communications, to have key people, decision makers within the companies, present in the discussion. And this really helped to build trust and accelerate the discussions. And hopefully we'll be here again very soon with the solutions and the subgroups and the projects they are raising for having this systemic approach and this collaborative approach with all the companies within Brazil.
Thank you so much, Beatrice. And I must say that people, individuals like you, who are so have so much courage and so much persistence, can make the difference. And congratulations on everything what you have achieved with your team in Brazil, the country that is 200 times bigger than Slovenia, but we still do not have a hub for circular economy. Hopefully this will happen as well. And here I will switch or give the floor and screen to Ms. Simona Weinhandl. From SRIP. This is Circular Economy Collaboration Platform, where a lot of stakeholders are collaborating, and we will hear what is happening in Slovenia and what are the main achievements in the last year. Please, Ms. Simona, your turn.
Thank you for your very nice introduction. I would like to share with you some slides. I would like to share with you some slides, but I have to say that on my position, Dragica Marinic, who is coordinating this circular economy strategic research and innovation partnership, should be here, and she is very sad that she wouldn't be participating in this event. So in Slovenia, we have strategic research and innovation partnership networks to the transition to the circular economy. This is actually a cluster that was established together with University of Maribor, Faculty of Chemistry and Chemical Engineering, and with National Institute of Chemistry located in Ljubljana. You can see also some nice pictures from Slovenia. This cluster is managed by the chamber, by Dragica Marinic. She is the main powerful woman in this cluster. Smart specialization strategy is our somehow baseline, and the goals of this strategic partnership or this cluster are somehow in line with this strategic smart specialization strategy in Slovenia, and also with the roadmap towards a circular economy, covering all these very important aspects that Slovenia should become circular, from digital and circular to industry. In Slovenia, there are actually 9 SRIPs, 9 strategic partnerships, but this partnership is actually devoted to circular economy. It's somehow a long-term sustainable public-private partnership, or we actually call them a cluster. It's somehow innovation ecosystem covering all aspects from social to citizen media. And we are working actually on quadruple helix model, support also by the state. We are somehow a living organism because companies can enjoy in our partnership. And we include almost 60 companies, mainly from SMEs. And we are also including very big institutes in Slovenia and also universities. And of course, a big issue is also including the NGOs. By this approach, we can actually also working on a global market, not only on national level. If I would like to present a little bit more about our circular economy cluster. We are focusing mainly on 6 thematic topics covering from sustainable energy, biomass and alternative raw materials, secondary raw materials, functional raw materials, processes and technologies, as well as circular business models. And all those themes are actually supported by IT. And a very important issue now, digitalization. This is somehow the basis to achieve the circular economy, to design some principles to keep the products and materials and in use as long as possible, covering all levels from economic to natural and also social level. Only by this approach, we believe we can close the loop for a long term. Our main document, we are oriented and somehow also covers all very important aspects of our cluster, is action plan, is a living document we are following and working on national level, covering different aspects from research and development. Of course, we have a big issue also on human resources development, entrepreneurship, internationalization, and sharing, of course. Beside the national level, we are open also to EU level by participating in different platforms. So this cluster is actually a member of different initiatives that somehow cover circular economy, not only in national, but also in European level. I would like to expose of Vanguard Initiative or Bio-Based Industry as platform. Quite a lot of actions now are actually going now also on water smart territories. So this is a very brief and short introduction of our activities in this, this cluster. Thank you all for your attention, and we are welcome to have some questions.
Thank you very much, Simona. You gave an excellent overview on that, how much actors are included and how this innovation ecosystem is supported also through this SRIP for circular economy, and a lot of partnerships can be established, I have no doubts. What is interesting is that in this first panel, as you have noticed, probably there were 3 ladies. And my question goes now to each of you. Do you think that there are special female characteristics, to say so, needed to nourish this collaboration among different stakeholders? Because maybe this is more in the hands of women, or is this just a coincidence? Maybe Beatrice, you are the one who is really navigating in this crazy world for more than 5 years now. Your answer to that. Does it help to be a woman and have certain qualities that contribute to this networking?
Well, I think since the Industrial Revolution, the man has been in the leadership of key industry and government decisions, and they are used to the status quo. So I think for us, it's somehow easier to break through the status quo and present new ideas, new solutions, and ask, why not? Why not to do different? You know, the way that we've been doing is certainly not taking us to a good result. So we need to do different. And I think women are brave enough to break through a well-known world, and we are not afraid of presenting different ideas. But my word is always equilibrium. So I think what we need is to merge together the experience, the personality of strong man leaders, and also our intuition, our creativity, like you said, and really learn how to bring all of this characteristics together to develop a new global economy based on new principles, new values, new attitudes, and new leaderships.
Thank you so much. Yes, as you said, it is important that we share the same values, and then how we collaborate, it's based basically on the values shared and on the trust that is established. And Linnet, now to you. You mentioned that despite this pandemic situation, you really managed to engage so many stakeholders in the process of in the road mapping process. So the question is now for the implementation, can you share with us what are those concrete steps? Because you nicely pointed out that now it should be embedded in the daily economy and decision making. So what are the next steps to learn from you from the roadmap to implementation? Just briefly.
Yeah, that's definitely a huge challenge. Well, considering the roadmap itself, the ministry is working very hard on giving it continuity and defining the governance. And right now they are in different discussions with different actors, and hopefully they will very soon be able to share with everyone what form this will take. So as for the ministry and for the roadmap, but then of course the roadmap, and as I said, as I mentioned, so many actors have participated in this process, and each actor has also committed to supporting and implementing some of the different actions. So now, and we can already see it, there's already quite a few steps that have started to being implemented. From the private and public sectors equally. So while we're waiting for this governance, to be created formally, you can already see that many actors that participated and that committed to implementing different strategies. For example, there's a regulation that is being discussed in order to declassify waste as waste in order for it to be used as raw materials. There's also quite a few. There's for example, the construction sector is already working on their sectorial circular economy roadmap. So based on the national roadmap. So that's really interesting, and that's what we're pushing for. And you can already see that at different levels and regions, the different regions of Chile, there's a lot of interest and a lot of different funds that are starting to come out to support implementation of circular economy.
Thank you so much for that. And this is inspiring us here in Slovenia as well, being 2 million altogether. And I would like to ask Ms. Simona now, what is SRIP, so the circular economy cluster, planning to do in a sense of this internationalization and supporting companies, because we are such a small country, to work together with others. So this aspect of collaboration, as the event today is offering us, what are the next steps maybe in this direction?
To reach this goal, the networking, I think it's the main principle, the basis for everything. So we are quite active now in different areas, as I already mentioned, in all these platforms, covering different aspects, not only water treatment, but also sludges. And somehow we would like to connect the issues of companies that are involved in our SRIP and open their value chains to the Europe.
Thank you. So the existing platforms are those that are very useful, and it is good to use them. So while we have already the opportunity to find partnerships. Thank you for that. And now we have a question. I hope that he will manage to get in. His Excellency Ambassador Juan Francisco Pacetti from Paraguay. He would like to raise a question. Let's try whether it works. Mr. Pacetti? No? Okay, something happened with the connection. Maybe he will come back. At this point, I would like to invite our active listener who has been not only listening, but I'm sure that also thinking about the reflection on this panel. So please, Ms. Karina, can you tell us or wrap it up? What is the key message that this panel brought to all of us? Just unmute yourself, sorry.
It is true that the modern technology, we have to learn progressively how to use it effectively. So good afternoon to everyone, and really thank you for invitation for this panel. Exciting discussions, very interesting topic at which we are also looking at in the European Commission. It is true that in our recent reflection on the programming process of the next programming perspective, the Global Europe instrument, we have been thinking quite a lot about the priorities that are emerging for the cooperation between the European Union and the Latin America and the Caribbean region. And I must say the circular economy is emerging as one of the priorities within this, let's say, package of policies related to the Green Deal. So we are looking with an extreme interest at those type of exchanges where it is not only about the government policies, but also about bringing the kind of let's say private sector collaboration between the two regions that I see already in those discussions is emerging. So I think this is extremely encouraging, and I think at the level of the European Commission we are thinking of what tools we can provide in the future and currently to support this type of collaboration on the circular economy, the emerging sustainable business models that can, let's say, be applicable in Latin America increasingly, and how to encourage this type of enterprises. For us, clearly the avenue for collaboration is lying within the private sector scheme. So, for example, what we have currently as the emerging new program that we want to promote in Latin America and the Caribbean is Al Invest Verde, that will contain some kind of a grant scheme that will support innovation, some kind of a pilot approaches to circular economy, to new sustainable business models that could support private sector initiatives that is let's say, built as a collaboration between Latin American companies and the European companies. So I think those kind of experiences that have been shared in here are extremely useful in this context, because we see that this type of collaboration between Latin America and European companies is already emerging. So this is clearly extremely encouraging for us. Also looking at the future, circular economy will become our important, let's say, policy that we want to support at the government level, at the private sector level, and we see a huge potential of circular economy for supporting the post-COVID-19 economic recovery in the region. According to the recent studies of the ILO and Inter-American Development Bank, there's a huge potential of circular economy also to drive the emergence of new green jobs. They estimate the circular economy transition could bring 10 million new jobs in the region. So I think this is really an area where we see a promising scope for future collaboration. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. And it is so optimistic to hear that this collaboration between two continents is already established. And as you said, a lot of partnerships between companies are emerging as well. And with the support like All Invest Verde and other programs, we can look forward for next steps. And now we have the ambassador back. So may I ask you now, Mr. Frasetti, to try to log in and set the question.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I just wanted to ask, and congratulations for this fantastic journey that you are presenting to us and on this very important issue, circular economy, with the participants. This is a key issue for us, for our countries, for our economies. And I have one specific question regarding to ask to Mrs. Weinhandel, and if she can elaborate a little bit more about the action plan on the issues related to, first of all, the career platform, second, the innovation, and third, digitalization. So I would like to know more about what are the outcomes that you are looking on these three pillars, and how the universities you mentioned are involved in these three issues. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. First pillar. Okay, in the first pillar, individual career platform, somehow we are in the period of transition to the circular economy. And in line with this, we need some skills and competences which are new. And in line with this, our strategic partnership, innovation partnership, we also have a competence center where participants or SMEs, they are involved in this competence center. They can learn on circular economy issues. And quite a lot of effort was put in action plan to develop those competences. Because in this future circular economy approach, there is a big issue of some new jobs and new skills and new competences. They are not on the market yet. So this should be in line together with a circular economy implementation. Did I answer you?
Thank you. I believe that there will be time for exchange also, maybe afterwards via mail, because we have to move forward, unfortunately. So thank you for this first part of the answer, let's say so. And I would just like to ask each participant now for the final only sentence, because we have to move forward. What is the message? So what is that one thing that you would like the collaboration between Europe and Latin America to focus on regarding the circular economy in the next year? So Linnet, what are you looking for?
Yeah, that puts me a bit on the spot, but I would say collaboration, like very fruitful collaboration between SMEs, which is also what we fully promote at the foundation. So between European and Latin American SMEs.
Great, Beatrice, your call for action?
Wow, as Linnet said, right on the spot. What do you want? Well, I guess by reading the Circular Economy Action Plan 2.0, it has become evident the position of Europe saying that circular economy is only happen if it's a global circular economy and a just transition. There is an element there that talks about creating guidelines for international exploration of natural resources. And Latin America is very strong in natural resources. So we hope to be a key player, providing experts and knowledge and contributing to the development of this international guidelines from a Brazilian perspective.
Perfect. Experts for natural resources. And now to Slovenia. Simona, what are we bringing to the table next year?
Already well established national value chains open to the global market.
Thank you. So this was our first round. Thank you very much. If you have time, please stay with us, because at the very end we will try to wrap up. I know that Beatrice has another conference because Portugal is very active during their presidency as well, hosting one event, and most likely she will not be able to stay with us, but we are moving now to the second round. And we mentioned already research and innovation and the importance of both of them for this circular transformation. I would like to invite now the following speakers, Andrei Karjan and Uroš Novak from National Institute of Chemistry, Mojca Pobrešnik, EOS, Slovenia as well. Then we have Bruno Igel from Brazil, WISE, and Fernando Maurin, Fundación de Revalora, Chile. We will have a short introduction by each of them with short presentations, and then the discussion will follow. So first we go to Mr. Andrei Karjan.
Ladeja, thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to address this group of people. It's very rare to have such an opportunity, to be honest about it, and a great opportunity. Let me share my screen, a few slides that I have. I'm coming from the National Institute of Chemistry, and I would like to emphasize in my talk the importance of scientific cooperation as a platform for reaching a number of goals: environmental, economic, and development. And I firmly believe that this is really one of the most important issues. The National Institute of Chemistry is one of the leading scientific institutions in Slovenia. As our name implies, we focus on chemistry, but this is in a very, very broad sense, so that we involve a number of different issues. And of course, professionals. As a scientific institution, we focus on basic and applied research, and therefore we go through the whole spectrum from scientific excellence and trying to publish in the best journals in the world with publications, then with a whole range of projects that go from a very, very basic science and a very high-level exploration, and also we have great equipment at the Institute, I have to say, to working with a number of different partners around the world. And that's where I think we have a great opportunity to work together, as well as industry. This is where we're trying to take the science to the applied part and actually make an impact, and particularly the environmental impact is one of our main targets. We have a very broad engagement with a number of partners, and I can just mention, for example, being involved also in the smart specialization strategy at the national level, for example, on materials with the city Matpro. Just to give you a feeling, although it was already mentioned that Brazil is 200 times larger than Slovenia, we have 15 departments, approximately 300 employees, and out of this 130 researchers with PhDs. And we also, of course, we have at our institution more than we have approximately 66, I don't know the exact number this day, PhD students, although we are not a university, but we work with the university. So probably, again, here I would say 200 times smaller. Nevertheless, what we're trying to do is to connect chemistry and related disciplines, which are here on the left, life sciences, theoretical chemistry, analytical, material, engineering, and catalysts, with the pressing challenges of our society, both Slovenian and of course European and global, such as health, climate, food, environment, and energy. And you can see here, of course, a strong implication for environmental issues. Let's say energy, environment, climate, but also food are very, very closely related to this. And in our work, we're trying to be responsible, green, bio-based, sustainable. These are all areas that we are working on. And just to give you a taste of some of the things that we do, I'm coming from the Department for Polymer Chemistry and Technology, and have been working for more than 2 decades in the environmental aspects of plastics and polymers. So something that we do, for example, is chemical recycling of, let's say, difficult but very valuable waste streams, such as polyamides, also known as nylon. These are very valuable, great materials. Our researchers have developed a methodology using microwave heating to achieve a 100% conversion to monomers, and we're looking forward to get this into industrial use and also to have the impacts of such work. Then also polyurethane foams, very difficult to depolymerize, but we've managed. So we get to degradation products that are fully useful in the preparation and production of new materials again. Then, for example, development of sustainable packaging. I personally have focused on the combination of paper and plastic, so very often in our hands every day, but then a limitation, a direct limitation to circular economy. You have two recyclable materials, we put them together into great products, but then we can't recycle them. It becomes a limitation to recycling. So we've been working in an international project to develop combinations that are better for recycling, so they do not limit the recycling process, or can go into composting, of course, using biodegradable plastics. Then we have issues such as nanocellulose production. We've worked a lot on liquefied wood, so liquefaction of biomass for different purposes, and so on. I will finish with that, and I will let my colleague, Dr. Uroš Novak, to continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrei. So I will continue with the work that I'm doing and leading. So I'm focused on the biopolymers, so what nature gives us. So I also was coordinating one project, and based on that and my experience, we can say that we are becoming one of the world leading labs for research and testing of advanced biopolymer solutions. It involves also partners from Italy, so it's trans-regional. Here in the pictures, you can see different application, advanced application of natural-based biopolymers for biomedicine, for food packaging. This is from seaweed, for example, and it dissolves in water. This is a first Slovenian plant-based burger. It was developed in 2018, and now these young entrepreneurs are in the Silicon Valley presenting their first plant-based filet mignon, and are considered as a 500 most influential startups in the biotech sector. The last part is also one very interesting story. It's local to local. For example, if you press 1 liter of apple juice, you can get enough material which is left to make those kind of protection for the notebooks. I'm not just Slovenian. Since I'm part of the young generation, I'm also European. And I'm working on the European project for the past 10 years. So first as a helping to older guys, but now I'm also the leading. So approximately I'm coordinating 2 EU projects per year. Mostly I don't get it, but still. But there are some good points. For example, competitions, since Europe is investing a lot to the challenges and invite everyone to contribute. So this is, for example, European Social Innovation Competition. Our team were the finalists. It was more than 500 different teams. And from that, one business startup is already working from 2020. So you can check 130 EU. So what we did, it was the plastic waste challenge. And the idea was to develop completely plastic-free solutions for the hospitality industry, so for the hotels and so on, eco camps. So at the moment we have 3 products on the market. So it's looking like that, and the shampoo is inside. It's and 3 more will come. So completely eliminating plastic from there. So circular economy, since I'm working on the EU project, is old story. So for young people, 5 years, it's quite old. So, and what we're aiming in the future, what is bringing everyone together, especially the young generation, Generation Z and women, is Society 5.0, which means that we should step outside the world which only lives in selling more, selling new and cheap and unsustainable. Even if they change the sustainable, they're still not good enough since they always bring new stuff to the market. So therefore, individuals have the influence, and they should follow their feelings and what we are working most. So all the ideas that we are developing are aimed for Generation Z, which are the people which will represent 30% of the workforce by 2030 and will increase annual per capita expenditure by 70% in the next 5 years. Those are people who are born in the internet society, who are connected around the world. So it's no problem for me to communicate with any other countries at the moment. So, and another sector which support, as was said before, are the women. And yeah, women should lead this. No equality, women should lead this because they're thinking differently than men. For men, it's important that it's simple, it's practical. All the rest, it's not that important. I know because I work on that, I talked to more than 30 industries, and always was the same problem at the end. So it's more expensive and it's not practical. Those 2 things, always by the man who leads the companies. Slovenia is the perfect destination for empowering zero waste technologies. Why zero waste? Circular is not enough, it should be zero waste. Slovenia is green, creative and smart. And tourism or tourist partners are the one which we already collaborating as researchers. So they're inviting us to help them to make the experience for the tourists, for people coming here, and also for the local environment better. And also, since we have now a female president of the EU Commission, it's great that she is focusing on the EU Green Deal and Farm to Fork. This is a very important agenda, and it's quite good to just brainstorm about it and try to implement it in the real life. But as a scientist, we are very egocentric, we're very egoistic, we're very driven being the best. And for us, just one word is not enough. Therefore, we are thinking beyond that, since follow the money. So most people that are like, so Jeff Bezos and so on, so which have the most money, try to make some efforts to go to other planets. So why not join that? Because what is needed there, it's the circular bioeconomy. Because you cannot survive in another planet if you do not have this logic behind. So to conclude, sometimes it's also good to look from the problems of what we have now from the space. Maybe then you can also implement in our planet. So that's it from my side. So you can follow us, our institute, or on different social media. We're quite active and try to communicate with all the partners that are.
Thank you very much, Uroš and Andrei as well. Now I understand what does it mean brain drain. They all go to the National Institute of Chemistry. So there are smart people from Slovenia. Congratulations on everything what you have presented. Now we will move on and then we will come back to the discussion. I'm inviting Mojca Pobrežnik from EOS to share her experiences regarding the collaboration between science and industry with us. Please.
Thank you very much. Hello, good day to everybody. Yes, indeed, I would like to share today some of our experience about our collaboration with industry and also about our research work. I've prepared some slides which I would like to share now. I hope everything is okay. So let me just shortly introduce our company. I'm coming from Institute of Environmental Protection and Sensors from Maribor. We are quite not so young, but quite young, still quite young SME, established in 2006. And we are also a member of SRIP Circular Economy. Our core business can be somehow developed into three main R&D areas. The first one is related to water ecology and recycling. We are also, which I will intend to come back later when I will talk a little bit more about recycling. Then just shortly mentioned optical, chemical, and biosensors, where we are mostly focusing on food safety, detection of pesticides and organophosphates. Maybe also gases are important. And then the third area is about nanotechnology and nanomaterials, where we developed different various applications of nanomaterials. Again, various nanomaterials based on magnetic nanoparticles as well as silica-based nanomaterials. To move forward, about our recent work on recycling topics, I would like to mention four recent project. The first one is EU Horizon 2020 Resintex, where we were busy with establishing new circular economy concept. That means how to reorganize or how to come from textile waste materials to chemical and textile, to chemicals and to secondary raw materials for chemical industry. The second one, called MET recycling, is about recycling the rare earth metals using functional magnetic nanomaterials and nanoparticles. This one is still ongoing, and here we are collaborating in very high level also with partner from Argentina, which we are very pleased to. Then here is the project Polycircularity, which is actually a national project, but a quite big one, where we are collaborating with 9 partners from Slovenia, and is somehow an upgrade of Resintex project, where we are upgrading the textile waste with plastics and packaging waste, and we are again trying to recover some raw materials out of the secondary raw materials out of it. And then here is again one Eurostars project, which is called HM Recycle, and it's dealing with recycling of heavy metals, again with functionalized magnetic nanomaterials, but maybe in more application way, because we are combining membrane biological reactor with magnetic nanomaterials, aiming to again recover some metals from wastewater. What have all those projects in common? I was just thinking, yes, quite a lot, because they're all 4 based on some circular economy concept, which is, I think, tells quite a lot. Now I would like to really point out about that, or on which we are the most proud of, is our demo pilot line, which is one of the main results of Resintex project, and is is located here in Maribor at our premises in our technical laboratory. The capacity of this line is 30 tons of waste textile per year. It was originally established for waste textile, but now we upgraded this equipment we are upgrading it also for plastics and packaging materials, and also for some cellulose and polymer-based materials, waste materials, which could be recycled, and some secondary raw materials or chemicals can be derived of. So what this demo pilot plant can offer, of course, we are working on, this is again from the textile point of view, the coloration of all cellulose, wool, polyamide, PET textile and PET plastics materials. We are working on depolymerization of pure textiles of these polymers. We are working on depolymerization of textile blends, which is the topic which attracts a lot of industry, because maybe it's really important to tell that polyester and cellulose and their blends are covering more than 80% of all the textile waste in the world. So this is quite important to know. If we want to reduce the waste, the textile waste, then this is why it's important that we can also work on the depolymerization of blends, and of course, which is maybe an upgrade, we can also depolymerize plastics. Here are some of our products, and here, just because I promised that I won't be too long, here are some impressions from working of this pilot line. It's quite automatized, and it has also a dosing system for chemicals. It has 3 reactors, high pressure, high temperatures, 1 bioreactor. It has also the wastewater treatment plant based on membrane filtration systems, and we are able to recover about 80% of all water. So we treat the water and reuse it already. So we try to act in the manner somehow of circularity already during the operation of this pilot plant. The interest for this pilot line and for its operation, it's quite big. So we are happy to spread our knowledge, and we are happy to find also some partners and some interest abroad. So thank you for your attention, and I'm be happy to answer the question.
Thank you very much for this super interesting introduction. I believe that many of partners from industry are now looking with big eyes now what is happening in this small Slovenia. As Adidas and Nike at the very end you showed, they recognized your capacity, what is great. And now we are moving to another continent, so back to Brazil. And I'm inviting Bruno Igel-Weise to introduce his, let's say, a circular economy journey. Please.
Hello. Thanks, Ladeja, and thanks for the Slovenian office for the invitation. I'll share a few slides quite quickly, and I'll surely be less technical from the greater presentations that happened. I'll approach a little more on a business model innovation that's happening in Brazil. So I'll speak a little bit about WISE. WISE is a plastic recycler in Brazil, and I'll speak about a little bit about the sector. So I think was already told that Brazil is a huge country, and most of you probably know we are over 200 million people, and 80 million tons of municipal solid waste every year. So the big thing is that Brazil, being big, our impact is big. To the good side or to the bad side, we have the largest rainforest. We have 12% of fresh water. It was spoken about fresh water in the beginning of the conference. We have 12% of the fresh water in the world. So we need to take care of Brazil. So if we want to take care of the world as an environmental standpoint. Of course, we may have governments that sometimes comes and goes and might not be completely aligned with all that's happening in the world, as some of you may know. But we have a thriving society, entrepreneurship, and companies that surely will take Brazil on the right side and put Brazil on the right side of the discussion for the next few years. We have tradition in the environmental practices in Rio 92, using ethanol as a fuel, clean energy and everything, and we intend to keep that. Coming to waste, we have today Brazilian circular economy is based in a model that uses around 1 million waste pickers, people just picking up waste in the street and sometimes in cooperatives and different business models, but it's very manual and very social sensitive, which is why we should take care of it as well. We process in plastics around 900,000 tons of recycled plastic per year, and we are a great model in some other materials as aluminium, and that we process over 90% of our aluminium is recycled, maybe around 70% of the paper, and in PET we already have good results as well with 50% of recycled material. Plastic recycling also, it's important in generating revenues to 1,000 companies and over 10,000 jobs, which is quite relevant numbers as well. We understand that Brazilian circular economy will thrive based on great initiatives, especially by companies and organizations. And Beatriz was speaking before about the hub of circular economy, which is a key initiative in Brazil. We have also Rede de Cooperação para o Plástico, which is a network of plastic, all the sectors in plastic, trying to drive up the recycling and the actually circular economy in plastic in Brazil. And we have a discussion on the plastic pact that's already in many countries around the world, and that we believe that should be active in Brazil by the end of the year. We have a huge problem on the huge gap on circular economy in Brazil. Is present when you have a huge demand by one side, so you have all the brand owners and consumer goods operating huge scales in Brazil, and they have global goals that they need recycle plastic, they need to implement to reduce the consumption of plastic, they need to make their practice on circular economy way better than it is. And so it's a huge opportunity with good prices in Brazil, better than usually you have around the world. And you have the business model and you have the technology developed globally to implement all of this. But you need investments to work in that. So you need really best practices in collections. You might have collection of waste in Brazil. Over 90% of the Brazilian waste is collected. Some countries, this number might get to 40%. Of course, Europe and you have better numbers than that, but it's not the main problem. But you need better practices in that. You need to consider taxations that consider externalities. We don't count on that considering our government, but in Brazil you pay more taxes when you use recycled plastic than when you use the virgin one. So probably that doesn't make sense. It's not the right incentive as a public policy standpoint. You need investments to implement more infrastructure and more technology and more efficiency on the supply chain. And we hope that this comes around not only with public, but especially with private investments through the time. So the good thing, we have this huge demand, but we need to make it better practice and better efficiency and more social inclusion through the recycling network and supply chain if we want to drive the circular economy in the country. Here we put a few of of what is happening. So it's kind of I try to put some images. What we're trying is to take this off the left way. I hope it's left, and put it to the right. So we have really bad conditions with waste pickers sometimes in dumps and places that we don't want. Really practices in working that it's not exactly what we would like, and we are working that. So as a company and as a sector, we are moving from this side and putting to the other side where you have way better working conditions and where you have technology. So we have some of the first, now we have 4 MRFs in Brazil from selective collections or for waste from the cities, regular ones, that really drive the technology, really drive the scale to other sizes. And as a company and as a sector, we are trying to make this change. And the hard thing is that you need to implement a lot of capital to make that work. And that might be too expensive to the private sector to do by itself. And what we've been doing in that direction is try to measure everything and put that somehow in the price or to drive investments. So we are measuring carbon footprint, which is in the goals of most of the brand owners. We are trying to measure social impact. Okay, what happens to the country when you take people from really bad conditions in working and put them in the right conditions of working and giving education to the kids somehow and making the whole landscape a bit better. When we measure all of this, when we measure all the waste that we are avoiding going to landfills or dumps, we may bring this to the price of the product or to drive investments in the sectors. And this may change the landscape in Brazil. Going to WISE and what we've been doing, what we understand the circular economy is that it's all about collaboration, as Beatriz says a lot, and she really practiced that in the circular economy hub. We understand that you have a lot of complex companies involved. They all are driven by, they want to go to circular economy, they want to build capabilities on that. But of course, they have different interests, different things that they have to consider when they get into this. So as a company, our main challenge is how to take all of these big companies, you say that the converters and the brand owners and the guys from the colors and the supply chain, and put this all together, people that speak sometimes very different languages, and that you integrate these guys in a collaboration site, so you can get to a packaging or a product in the end that cannot be way more expensive. You have to be like financially viable, so you can go to scale. And in the end, you may not even notice that it's working with recycled material. And we think that's key, because scale brings when you have scale happens when you have financial viability, and you have pretty much the same product that you used to have before they use recycled material. So it's pretty much a wrap up of what we've been doing. I hope it was interesting to everybody, and of course I'm available for the questions and discussions.
It was more than interesting, and it is so interesting that we are running almost out of the time. We have to really speed up. Thank you, and thank you for emphasizing the social dimension, because this transition towards circular economy has to be focused on that one as well, not only on technological one. So thank you for emphasizing that. And now we are moving to Chile, to Fernando Maurin, and I'm really asking you kindly to be as short as possible, because otherwise we cannot move to the third panel. Please, Fernando.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Ladeja. Thank you for the opportunity to share with you our passion. Prevalora Chile. I don't know, are you seeing my screen now? We are Fundación Chile, for Prevalora Chile. We are not an NGO, a non-for-profit organization. Our core business is recycling plastic, but with a sense. Actually, we move, our final end is a circular economy, but we take a social dimension, as Bruno mentioned as well. And the way we do it is that we transform plastics into a raw material with which we do final products that we put into the society. We focus on the plastic that are not recycled in Chile. We focus on multi-layers, number 7, number 6, expanded PS as well. And we try to get away from, for example, PET, that has a big market here. Is 56% of the plastic recycling in Chile are based on PET. So we try to focus on the plastics that are really going to the landfill. And with them, we are processing them and making a eco good, a eco tabla, we call it. And with that material, we build infrastructure for public spaces, playgrounds, and urban mobiliary that we put in the most vulnerable communities. You know, with the support of the companies that produces plastic, like Unilever, the other companies that Bruno shows in the presentation, we take their plastics, we go and transfer them and go to the community with these products. As well, on the other dimension, we go with those companies and produce some different elements that they use in the regular business days, like pallets, skids they use for transportation. For example, clothing, furniture they use in the offices, POP material that they use for the retail spaces. So we really transform their plastics waste into new materials that are used in a daily business, and then also for the communities. We take care of post-industrial plastics from them, and also post-consumption plastic from communities that we go with campaigns through schools, municipalities, and everything. So we collect both sources of plastic and transform it in the eco wood. This material has a lot of benefits and better characteristics than the natural wood. They are not rotten, can be under the water for 100 years, last forever. It cannot be affected by biological vectors and everything. So it's really interesting. And also we provide the companies with a lot of eco indicators, where for each ton of material that we recycle, we transform it in different indicators that they use. Okay, we are also in the process to measure our carbon footprint. So we will be able to put that on the table for them as well. Very short, that is what we do. We have passion on that. We have been very successful. People, government and private sector has taken this as a very positive manner, and most companies are engaged. Most governmental, local governments are engaged in the programs with us. So basically, this is it. This is a park, a landfill that we playground that we do is 100% made with recycled plastic from the 50% is number 7 that goes into landfills, and just 30% is PE, and that's it. Basically, that is what we do, and we do it with passion.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You nicely put it that this is a kind of a playground where you all can play together. And I would like, before I give the word to Karina, I would like to use you as the players on this playground, and that each of you tell us, because now we have discussed plastics quite a lot from different angles, where do you see the opportunity to collaborate with the others from this panel? Maybe Mojca, if we start with you, have you noticed who might be your next partner?
Thank you for your question. Yes, you've noticed just the right topic. What we are looking for, of course, are the partners who might be the one that could be the best partner for us. Of course, we are looking for some industries that are able to evaluate our secondary raw materials, and of course to evaluate them by applications. and to somehow put it or produce or build those our secondary raw materials in form of chemicals in their products and evaluate them. So this is the best, or this is the most wanted further step for our topic or for our area.
Thank you, Andrei. And Uroš, who would you go for?
Well, if I start, I think we can support any of these efforts, and I think to get them to a competitive and technologically advanced level, there has to be scientific support, and I think that's where we come in. We'd gladly work with partners in Latin America, so I don't see a problem. We just have to find a route how to make it happen.
Perfect. Bruno, did you find any inspiration?
Yeah, for sure. When you ask about recycling, you depend on supply chain, and supply chain is paid when you can add value to the most of the material. So I'm especially crazy about textile recycling. So I'll probably get in touch with Ms. Moshka and surely Andrei and Uroš brought a lot of things on chemical recycling and things that really are far away from where we are, but it's surely our long-term view. So it was very interesting, I guess, a lot to do.
Excellent. And Fernando, you are also in this play. Where do you see the potential?
Yeah, I see a very good opportunity on the chemical aspect of it, because we have a high demand on the mining sector to recover, especially to recover landfill that has been polluted for years. So in that area, I see a very good opportunity to move forward with Andrei.
I'm so excited about everything what is to emerge here from this conversation. And now, Karina, are you as excited as me?
Definitely, definitely. A lot of passion that we see around the table. And I think it's really amazing to see that this circular economy principles can be applied to almost any economic domain or production domain or kind of supply chains domain that we see around the table. So there's a value in some kind of a cross-fertilization of different ideas, innovation, experiences between Latin America and European Union in this level. A lot of passion as well, because what I see is that the kind of the circular transformation, let's say, forces us to think a little bit about the transformation of the kind of economic model and the Society 5.0. I really liked the kind of a vision that we have seen in this panel. It's about you see, redefining the prosperity, redefining the economic objectives from the short-term, let's say, vision of GDP growth to a larger view, looking at the future sustainability of our economic model, looking at the social capital, natural capital. So I think environmental impact of our economy. So I think it's beyond research and innovation. It's about transforming the way we see our economies in this new global, let's say, transformation. Huh?
Oh, thank you very much. It's great that it is recorded, because how nicely we wrapped it up. It is really a strong message. And now we are jumping to another very interesting polygon, to say so. We have the true circular frontrunners, so the businesses. And we tackled now the plastics, and we are moving to those who are dealing with plastics on a daily basis as well. We will have Tjaša Ban from Plastica Skaza, Slovenia, then Tina Mauric from Aquafil, Slovenia as well. Then Catalana Giraldo from Chile. And we have another interesting company by Ions Graton, Brazil, Flex Syntronics. So a lot of really exciting business models, circular business models that are also bringing revenues. And I'm inviting now Tjaša Ban from Plastica Skaza to open the floor of the entrepreneurs in the circular world.
Hello. Thank you for inviting me. It was lovely to hear everything from other panelists and get some new ideas also for us. My name is Tiasha. I'm a business developer for company Plastica Zan. We are on hand a specialist in natural composting, and on hand we are a plastic producer. Firstly, I would like to say composting. So on average, around 40% of municipal waste is basically bio-waste. And if it's handled properly, we can reduce bio-waste already in our households for at least 25%. We are composting, then we are using waste as a fertilizer, as a compost, and we can reduce it up to 1%. And we can also get a natural fertilizer soil and plants. So basically what we're trying to do is, our main focus is how to amplify bio-waste solution for households and amenities with our Košir composter, and we want to bring it into every household in the world. And yes, we are indeed a plastic manufacturer. How does that work hand in hand with sustainability and circular economy? The fact is that every single piece of plastic ever produced still exists on the planet. And to become more sustainable society, we still need to treat this as a viable resource. So we are focusing our development and manufacturing to using recycled materials and to produce that are recyclable. We're trying to going away from bio-based plastic that we have been using for the last 10 years to go recyclable plastic materials. Our manufacturer, we have an R&D department working on making recyclable materials stable enough that can all go into sectors like and other sectors that are using virgin plastic. So we want to be the first manufacturer to actually use recyclable materials in electrical business. And us being a circular front runner does not only produce sustainable products, but it also affects every aspect of business and process in the company. So we are working on life cycle assessment, so measuring the environmental impacts of our products. Regarding to that, we are focused on where and how we source our raw materials. We're trying to source them as near as to the manufacturer as possible. We are focusing on the whole process of manufacturing, procedure of processed materials, transportation, how we transport, what kind of packaging do we use, also to how our products will be used and lately used. Basically, as I said, our ambition is to offer our solution to successfully treat bio-waste to every household and municipalities all around the world. To develop better to successfully use recycled plastic, that means we're focusing on making some recyclable materials stable enough to actually be used in every sector and to get away from plastic. To improve every last step in life cycle assessment, so from sourcing our material, to disposing our products, to opening new production lines in other countries. So our sourcing production is close as possible to our customers. So we're trying this value chain short as possible. And basically this is it. This is our company. This is how we're trying to be sustainable, not only by applying sustainable products, but actually by being in all the steps in manufacturing, using all the way from sourcing the materials.
Thank you, Tiasha. You have presented a really sustainable mindset where circular economy is embedded in every part of business. And a very similar story goes to Aquafil and Tina Mauric. Aquafil has one of the longest traditions in circular economy, and I'm looking forward to hear their case as well. Tina, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, everything okay, we can hear you.
My name is Tina Mauric. I'm coming from Aquafil, Slovenia. I will try to share my screen just to start with some visual. We are a Slovenian company, but we are part of the international Aquafil group, which is one of the leading producers of nylon 6 globally. So today we heard a lot about plastics. So nylon 6 is a special type of plastics, we can say so. But in our company, nylon 6 is used to produce yarns. Two types of yarns, yarns for carpets and yarns for apparel. Besides, these are the two biggest groups of products. Besides, some of nylon 6 goes also to engineering plastics, a smaller part. Aquafil Group has 17 plants in 7 countries, employing more than 2,600 people at the moment. Besides 4 plants in Slovenia, Aquafil's plants are located in Italy, where there is also the headquarters, and Croatia, United Kingdom, and United States, China, and Thailand. So on 3 continents, 17 plants. As said, our main activity is manufacturing of yarns, nylon yarns. But since 2007, Aquafil's priority has become doing business sustainably. This strategical shift has led to many changes in operation and in business, particularly in the fields of recycling, use of energy, and culture of sustainability. One of the most significant was, however, marked by the implementation of a globally unique nylon 6 recycling process called Economies regeneration system. The chemical plant itself is located in Aquafil Slo, in the Slovenia capital, Ljubljana, and it is able to regenerate nylon 6 raw material from waste containing nylon. Just a moment. Why am I not able to move forward? Here we are. So waste containing nylon, such as fishing nets, fish farming nets, and different type of industrial waste. In all of this waste, which we are sourcing all over the world, from Chile to New Zealand, and of course from Europe, Asia, Pakistan, and so on, in all of this waste, we are looking for nylon 6. So we are able to recycle only nylon 6. Once the waste comes to Aquafil, we shred it, clean it to recover the most of the nylon 6 from it. And then we continue with the recycling itself. We call it regeneration. We are basically doing a chemical recycling via depolymerization. So we are going back from the plastic to its building blocks. So the result is chips, nylon 6 chips. The nice thing about this is that regenerated nylon Econil has the same quality and the same characteristics as the traditionally made nylon 6. So this enables us to use it in our regular production processes to produce yarns for carpets, yarn for apparel of the same quality, of the same performance, in the same way. So this is the remake part. And what comes next is the last step of this circle is the reimagine part, which basically is not owned by us, but it's happening with our customers. We are proud to list some of very famous customers who are using Econil ingredient in their in their products, such as Gucci and Prada and Napaperi. But also I would like to expose this one, Karjan. It's a Chilean brand which is making which is a eyeglasses producer, and is using Econil to produce their sunglasses. But not only this, not only using our product as their ingredient, but they have also set up a collection process of discarded fishing nets and ropes from the coast of Chile via local collectors, who in change for the collected waste are getting seed capital for their micro businesses. The number of brands using Econil ingredient in their swimwear, sportswear, or carpets is still growing. Also because the Econil nylon 6 production process, besides using waste as source for secondary raw material, has proven environmental benefits, which are calculated with life cycle assessment methodology. Econil raw material has 90% lower CO2 emissions compared to a traditionally produced one. So this is one of the reasons also why some sustainably circular oriented brands are looking for this ingredient. This would be it from my part.
Yeah, thank you, Dina, very much. And it's great to have a company like Aquafil in Slovenia, this global company actually. And as you said nicely, the demand is increasing for Econil and for this kind of materials, particularly now during the COVID crisis. We have noticed how more sensitive we became as consumers. And as has been mentioned, also the generation Z is the one who is particularly sensitive, what to buy, when to buy, and so on. So a prosperous future for both companies, for SCASA and Aquafil. And we are moving now to Chile. So Catalina Giraldo.
Good morning, everyone. I am Catalina Giraldo. I would like to talk on behalf of More Sustainable Supply Chain. It is a company based in Chile, and our target is to introduce digitalization for companies to make decisions in sustainability along the supply chain. So we would like to talk today about 3 opportunities for circular leaders linked to 3 challenges. First challenge, we would like to talk about packaging design. Second one is sustainable value chains. And third one is keep materials in use. First, do you know if that Latin American and Caribbean countries produce, or 14% of plastic is transformed into packaging? This worst scenario is that this packaging has a short life. Also, there are some numbers that say that residential waste has increased among 15 to 25% during COVID time. And finally, there are strongly evidence that in Latin American and Caribbean countries, there is the presence of microplastics in sediments, fishes, and plankton. I just want to share one example of a redesigned product, redesigned packaging, and the opportunity behind is the upstream innovation to packaging solutions. As you could see here, there is a packaging that has the function to contain 4 glasses. So this packaging, the original one has 11 pieces of different kind of materials. So together with our team, we achieved that these 11 pieces will transform in just 2 same material without glue, and better performance in terms of sustainability, logistic, and also it looks better to consumers. This is just one example. linked to this opportunity. Second challenge, sustainability in value chains. So it is common to hear that unethical practices that have emerged about across different supply chains, also customer pressure as a major driving force for the adoption of social aspects of sustainability across the supply chain. Here we have an example of the kind of tools that we are introducing to companies with the idea to identify the risk, but not also to identify the risk, also to define strategies to manage them. As you could see here, there is just an example. We could have a map of where forced labor, also salary payments, hydric stress, and many others important issues that represent some products and some supply chains could be representing a simple tool like this, and could help a lot to companies to improve their performance along the value chain. This is ours. And the third, but not the least, is the challenge keeping materials in use. So it is surprising, but Latin American and Caribbean countries generate a lot of per capita waste. We could say that 1 kilogram in habitat per day is generated, but the worst scenario is that 90% goes to landfill. It is quite critical. That is why we want to present another tool, an opportunity. It is the extended producer responsibility monitoring and action. This is another tool that we have developed internally for companies. The idea of this tool is to anticipate to the waste that are going to be generated depending of the sellings of some companies. As you could see here, there is a clear map of wastes, but also this tool helps company to trace back the waste that they generate in the past, but also they could go forward and to look in the future what they are planning to generate and how they could manage them. So they also could see the profile of their wastes and create baseline for them. So this is what we wanted to share with you. And so thank you so much.
Wow, Catalina, so inspiring. And these tools are so much needed also regarding the new regulation that is coming to Europe as well. So I believe that it can be exported, the knowledge and experiences you have. And we have to jump now to the last speaker and presenter, Jose Graton from Brazil.
Hello, Ladeja, I'm here. Thank you for the opportunity and for the invite. And I will talk about our company and about our atuation in circular economy area. Can you hear me well? Yes? Yes, it's okay. Okay, Ladeja. And now, Flex is a global company that acts in technology area in more than 30 countries with more than 100 operations around the world. Producing technology equipments and solutions to big brands. In Brazil, Flex has created in 2012 a sustainability innovation center called Synctronics, with the missions to develop technology to close the loop the material supply chain. Flex has created the first circular ecosystems in Sorocaba, Brazil, where we operate in different areas to design product, develop product, produce product, and keep the resources in use based on circular economy concept. All these operations allow us to operate with the concept that we called sketch to scale and circulate, where our customers can bring ideas and we help them to develop and implement this idea in large scale. During the past years, Flex has acted to create innovations to promote circular economy with different projects and solutions in materials area, operations area, logistic areas, social and digital areas. In material areas, we had created different plastics, 100 recycled in semi-properly as a virgin material, and we allow our customers use this resin in their new products that they produce with us. In operation area, we developed a process to transform end-of-life product in raw materials in semi-proper as a virgin. In digital area, we developed systems to reverse logistic operations where we allow end users giving back end-of-life products to be recycled, and we connect the different agents with agility and traceability. During these last years, Syntronics our recycled more than 11,000 tons of waste and produced more than 2,000 tons of recycling resins. In Sorocaba, our operation are certified in ISO 14, ISO 45,000, R2 and zero waste. And sorry. In Brazil, this case was our case was possible because we had three main factors that ability our operation. We have a manufacturer operation in Brazil. We had laws in waste area, and we had a big consumer market near of our manufacturing operation. It's because reverse logistics is on the most high cost of the operation to bring the equipment back. And the Flex Brazilian case was the first use case in circular economy area, and worked to our country and our global company as a reference. And we are very proud with that. And Flex continues work to expand the circular economy concept to our other operations around the world, providing serving solutions to our customers and their products to be each more circular. And is this, Ladeja, and it's a brief presentation about our action in Brazil in circular economy area. Is this? Thank you to the opportunity.
Yeah, and thank you. It is so nice to hear the stories from all around the globe, in fact, and how you are exploring new opportunities for business. And to conclude this discussion, I would like to ask you a tricky question, each of you, starting with Tina, because I know the CEO of Aquafil, Mr. Giulio Bonazzi, who likes to say that if he would know how exciting, in a way, this circular transformation would be for the company, maybe he would never start because you need so much courage, but at the end it works out, of course. So the question to each of you is, what was the most challenging moment in this transformation or in establishing the business? Just one thing, because we usually talk about the success and nice parts of the stories, but let's see what is that, what was the most challenging for you. Yeah, just briefly, because we are slowly closing the discussion. Tina, please, the floor. You're muted, Tina.
Sorry. I think that the most challenging part was that we were the first and we were the only one. So there was nobody who you could learn from. There was unknown territory. So everything we had to like invent, test everything.
So someone has to be the first and then the others follow. Thank you. I'm moving to Jose. What would be your lesson learned or challenge?
To us, it was break the bad concept about recycled resin. Molders don't accept this, and prove to them that recycling resin could be good than a virgin. It was one big challenge that we had.
But you survived even with this challenge. Yeah. Now, Tiasha, what was your challenge, or what was the lesson learned?
I would hardly say what was the biggest challenge for a company in the last 43 years that we exist, but I can say what I see as a challenge now that we're having is how to achieve with these recycled materials to have the mechanical properties as virgin plastic has.
Yeah, it's not so easy, yes, to find the right replacement. And Catalina, to end it up with you.
Yes, from my point of view, I think to change the mentality of managers in companies, because they used to work in a traditional way, and when you try to introduce a new way to think, a new way to analyze the sustainability and to incorporate sustainability into the business management plan, so in the beginning it takes time, but then it comes and it works.
The shift in the mindset. So thank you so much, everyone, for participating, for sharing your knowledge, experiences, and also the challenges, because it's not a fairy tale. It's a really tough transformation process. And just one last word from Karina, and then we are moving to the next panel. Please, Karina, to close our session.
They are very well. I think you kind of made a wrap up yourself. It's about this shift in a mindset. It was a lot of sharing of experiences around the reimagining the products. You see, redesigning them, upstream innovation. I think the private sector has a key role to drive this type of innovation in the future. But it is true, looking at the challenges. We have to also look at what are the incentives up there for the private sector to kind of change and apply this new change in the minds, basically in the business models. And I think there's a role for the society to drive a little bit the kind of preference for marks that are more sustainable. There's also a role for public policies to help the private sector to come up with this innovation and to come up with the new solutions that could be also financially viable in the future. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone. As our friend Guido Bram from Netherlands usually say, we are the people we have been waiting for. So let's keep the spirit high and our enthusiasm, connect, collaborate, and bring the change in life. Thank you so much. In 2 minutes, we continue with the event, and I'm just saying goodbye and see you next year, hopefully. Thank you so much. Bye.